Hello and welcome to India TV. I am Shivangi and with me right now we have a senior journalist and expert Amit Palit. Hello Amit, welcome to India TV.
Yeah. Hi Shivangi, we both work for India TV, we both are colleagues.
But welcome to India TV English YouTube channel.
Exactly. So we are now connected with you, the digital platform, though we also connect with you our TV also,
exactly.
National TV. But here we are going to talk about two very important events today, or rather I say news also, because both are events and equally they are news
important
also.
News. So first is the Waqf Act Amendment Bill. Well, the government is set to table the bill today in the Parliament at 1 o'clock. And first of all, there are many questions amongst people. What is this and why is the need and everything? So first of all, Amit, what is the Waqf Act? Just give a clear idea of what it is.
Since you have already said at 1 o'clock it will be tabled in the Lok Sabha, and right now you can see still this the कार्रवाई अभी चल रही है. वक्फ बोर्ड को आज जो बिल है पेश किया जाएगा, 1 बजे पेश किया जाएगा. It will be tabled in the Parliament. Now the first thing is, what is Waqf Board? Now people don't understand actually the meaning.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So Waqf is something related to the land of the Allah.
Okay.
Because in Islam or the Muslims, when they donate their property or land in the name of Allah, so it becomes the Waqf. Okay, and it is managed by the Waqf Board.
Okay.
So throughout in India, we have Waqf boards, and the Muslims which actually completely runs this whole board and this whole show. And the only thing is that around 200 people, if you see, only 200 people around across India, they control this whole Waqf, the land, the property, and everything.
Okay.
And also the most important thing is that the size of the land they have. Just imagine 9.2 lakh acres.
I think this is third in number across the country. First is with defence, then comes railways, and then Waqf Board. Now, defence and railways we understand because, of course, defence is for the security reasons of our country. Railways because people are obviously commuting through railways. So these both areas or sectors have the maximum land. But now Waqf Board, as you said, it falls under the third.
The third largest, the landlord, you can say. They hold the land property, and also in terms of the money, it's almost like 8.9 lakh crore rupees of the properties are there, and almost like 9.2 acres of property land they have. So it's a huge amount, and the only thing which is always questioned, not only by the government but by the other Muslim groups, like the Bohras.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there are the Shias. Okay.
Yes.
And then the Aga Khanis. So
right.
they are different sects. They also raise question about the Waqf Board, how they manage the whole system and how they use the money they get through the properties, because the number is huge and there is no transparency in the whole Waqf Board, how they collect the revenues from the properties and how they use it, because the Waqf itself, it talks about that the money which comes from the Waqf properties, it should be used for the social work for the people. So the money which is collected by the Waqf Board, are they actually using it for the people, for the society, and also the participation of all the groups? See, there are just like when you talk about like Islam or the Muslims community, there are certain sections, we call it those who are underprivileged. So those who are underprivileged, they should be also get that participation in this board, and there should be the participation of women also. So when we see this, the Waqf Amendment Bill of 2024, it includes lots of transparency into it, and also it also gives representation to the Muslim communities who are always been away, or they may be deprived from being the part of Waqf Board. And there are lots of you can say allegations by the other groups like the Shias, then the Bohras, and the Aga Khanis, and different sects. So this act will make this Waqf Board more transparent. It will be more inclusive of people, and also there is one thing which I was reading, I will share with you. This new bill will allow a non-Muslim chief executive officer, CEO, and also at least 2 non-Muslim members to be appointed by the state government to the Waqf Board at the state level. Earlier, only Muslims can be the CEO or the members of this court. So this is also going to be a very
These
big
are kind of drastic
shift.
changes that or
Yeah.
shift, that the government is proposing. Firstly, the government is proposing representation of women, and
Exactly.
then of course the other backward classes within the Muslim community. So these two things, I guess, are progressive as well. But what do you think could be the negative aspects of this?
See, the negative aspect will be always be drawn by the opposition
Yeah.
and the clerics, all the Muslim personal law board members. They will say that it is some kind of you're trying to get into our territory, and
Yeah.
this is something which is related to our religion. Just
Yeah.
like in personal law, we have seen during the triple talaq also. They said
Yes.
"Hey, this is nothing to do with the government or to the you can say the other community, because this is
Yeah.
completely something which is falls under Sharia, the Muslim law and everything." But see, understand this thing, what is like in the Waqf, this all law talks about. The Waqf can, claim any land, be it your land or my land.
Yeah.
If the Waqf comes and say, okay, the land which Shivangi holds, or the property Amit holds, it is the Waqf property. The thing is that we cannot challenge it in the court.
Exactly, that is one very important thing that we need to notice, because and I've heard that even Delhi High Court has been claimed to be a Waqf property.
Yes.
So,
that's true.
I mean, if the High Court has been claimed, our homes are not at all safe.
Exactly.
And even if that happens, whom are we going to challenge? Against the Waqf Board, who itself has claimed right over our property. So, eventually, I mean, this was like, this already, there were a lot of loopholes in this law, and with the amendment, I believe there will be many positive changes as well.
Agree. See, the loopholes. See, understand, in this, when we talk about constitution, the whole opposition, they always talk about the constitution. The whole
Yeah.
election was, the campaign
Constitution
was,
bachao, Samvidhan bachao.
Samvidhan bachao chal raha tha. But understand, in this, the Waqf law, you cannot challenge, their claims to any court.
Exactly, you can't go
In
to High Court
constitution.
or Supreme Court anywhere.
Understand? So how can a constitution give a absolute right, absolute right to a entity which can claim any property in this India of their own, and you cannot challenge it to any court, in this country, and that is the biggest place for anybody to
Right.
get the justice, and the only where you can go and you put your case across is the Waqf Board Tribunal, the Waqf Tribunal Board.
Right.
And Waqf Tribunal Board is comprised by the people of the Waqf.
Exactly. So it's going to be a circle. It's going to be completely, like
And
it
there's
was
one
earlier.
more thing. One more thing I should need to add. So when you challenge their claims, suppose the Waqf comes and says, okay, Shivangi, the property is ours.
Okay.
Now you have to, you will go to the tribunal because you can't go to the court.
Yeah.
So what do you think what's going to happen there? How will you prove that that is not a Waqf's land, it's your land? So there you have to prove. The Waqf doesn't have to prove that that is their land. Their claim is enough. That is our
This
land.
is like a one-sided claim.
Exactly. You will be challenging their claim, and you have to produce papers and documents showing that this property is mine. So now these are few very important changes which have been made. But in 1995, during the period of Narasimha Rao, when another amendment came in Waqf Board by Narasimha government, there they have given this kind of absolute power to an entity.
So that obviously tries to supersede the constitution, which is completely wrong.
Yeah.
Now, with this new amendment, the government is trying to propose 40 amendments in the bill.
Right.
And also there is this thing that the district collector will be appointed to resolve disputes between the Waqf Board and
arbitrator. He will be the arbitrator.
He will be the arbitrator. So this looks like a positive thing again.
Yeah, definitely. See, you need a neutral person. Suppose if I'm a Waqf Board, okay, and I claim that your land is mine, okay, and if you come to the tribunal, the Waqf tribunal, where I have my people sitting there, then do you think that is?
No, I don't think
What is
so.
the percentage of you think as a, that you will get a justice? So you have a DC, district collector of that area. He'll be the arbitrator. We both go to them. I claim this is the Waqf property. You say, okay, this is my property, and let the neutral person decide who is, whose claims are right and whose claims are false. So I think that is one very important thing which has been included in this bill. What you have mentioned, that our DC district collector as the arbitrator on whether a property of Waqf property of government land or not. Now also any government property identified or declared as Waqf property before or after the commencement of this act shall not be deemed to be a Waqf property. However, the amendment states that collector will make this determination in case of a dispute and not with the Waqf tribunal. So now this is important that everything will be decided by the district collector, not by the, he'll be the arbitrator, he'll be the person whom you will go and you will give your grievances. And currently under 1995 Act, I am reading from here because it's very technical, so I have to be very particular about the words.
Exactly.
The decision is made exclusively by the Waqf Tribunal as per section 6 of the Act. The decision of the tribunal in respect of such matter shall be final. Now in 1995, that's what I said. If the tribunal said no, this land belongs to Waqf, okay, Shivangi will lose the land. You have no place to go and claim that what happened is wrong and you have given the wrong decision and it was injustice. Now,
So like justice denied kind of
justice
thing.
denies.
Completely.
And the only thing, Shivangi, you have to understand, when we talk about the constitution which gives to equal rights to everyone,
Exactly.
isn't it an absolute power to giving an entity where you cannot, appeal?
No, you cannot challenge them.
The court, the law of the land.
Right.
So they said these are the things which always been, took up by the all the people who have faced such situation in their life. Now, in case of collector determines the property to be a government property, he shall make necessary correction in revenue records and submit a report in this regard to the state government. Now, that will be very important because you have to make this revenue records right. Because of this, the long pending, lots of issues are there. Then again, from the lands which used to be the partition and after partition, so their revenue records are not properly kept. So you have to make everything properly so that in future you don't have such title issues with the properties. Now, if you further go, you said like 40 amendments
have been proposed.
There. You can also add if you want to make any particular
There's
point.
going to be a separate board as well for Bohra Muslims to give representation to Shias, Sunnis, Bohras, Aga Khanis and other backward classes, as you said. So that also gives them power, not only the whole Muslim. Initially it was only maybe the upper caste, but now it gives the backward classes as well the power to get a part in the Waqf board, and in fact a separate board for them. So this is positive for the Muslim community as well.
यही बात हमेशा हो रही थी क्या हो रहा था कि जैसे लाइक बोरा कम्युनिटीज़ हैं, द शियाज हैं, तो क्या हो रहा है, देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ प्रॉपर्टीज व्हिच आर क्लेम्ड बाय बोथ द कम्युनिटीज़. मतलब वक्फ बोर्ड में सुन्नीज आर आल्सो क्लेमिंग कि हमारा है, शियाज भी बोल रहे हमारा है, कई जगह पे बोरास के साथ भी है. तो ये जो डिस्प्यूट है, इस डिस्प्यूट में जो वक्फ बोर्ड जिसको बोलता है उसको वो फ़ायदा मिल जाता है. और डिफरेंट वक्फ भी होते हैं, जैसे कि शियाओं का अलग वक्फ बोर्ड है, ठीक है, उसी तरह से अब इसको इंटीग्रेट कैसे करेंगे. और जो टाइटल को लेके जो आपके क्लेम्स होते हैं उसमें भी एक बड़ा इशू आता है. इसीलिए था कि भाई अब जब वक्फ बोर्ड बना रहे हैं, ठीक है, उसमें यू इंक्लूड द मेंबर्स ऑफ एवरी कम्युनिटी सो दैट इन अमॉन्ग देम दे कैन डिसाइड कि कुछ करना है, दे वांट टू मेक सम चेंजेस और दे वांट टू claims, counter claims are there. And the most important thing what you have mentioned, keeping women inside it.
Exactly.
In the board there is no representation of women.
Right.
So in a country where we talk about
Nari Shakti and everything.
Yeah.
So,
and you don't have a female representation होना चाहिए जो इसमें ऐड किया गया है. अच्छा, एक और बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ है, something which I need to mention is that earlier the transparency, I say, the most important part. अब suppose you have the Waqf board member, you are earning lakhs of the money, I mean like crores of money, but उसको कैसे पता लगेगा कि are you actually using it for the social purpose or not, जिसके लिए Waqf board बना हुआ है. Why this Waqf board is made for the social, it's basically it's God's property, whatever comes which goes to the people.
Right.
उसके लिए क्या है, कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं था.
No option.
आप जाके जांच ही नहीं कर सकते. Now here the government will, the bill proposed enacted will give the central government the power to direct the audit of any waqf at any time by an auditor appointed by the comptroller and auditor general, CAG, by CAG of India, or by any officer designated by the central government of that purpose. So it means that the money, how it comes and where it goes, you can at least have a transparent paper, because most of the time lots of the Muslim communities, I mean the groups basically, the groups, they have raised question how is earning, who is getting that money. Lots of properties have been sold to people without the knowledge of any other the community people. So these are the things which actually very much made the part got this. In Islamic law, the dedication of property as a waqf was done largely by orally until documentation became the standard norm. For example, even in the absence of waqfnama, a masjid can be deemed to be a waqf property if it is continuously used as such.
So this is by just by
बोल
word.
दिया
Exactly.
अच्छा, it's just like that Shivangi said कि this property is mine. How is mine? Because the person who died, he said कि this is waqf property.
This is quite, I mean, very vague. I mean, such a vague.
So you can claim the
the-
Taj Mahal is yours. You can someday even you can claim the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The President House is also
Exactly,
mine.
exactly. You know the same thing that I said, ki even Delhi
High-
High
Delhi
Court,
High Court.
the Delhi High Court
They said
has
this
been
land
claimed.
is ours.
The
It's the Waqf
Waqf
land.
Board says that the Delhi High Court land is also there, so nothing is safe here.
नहीं, आप ये सोचो कि I have heard lots of other clerics and some leaders they said कि अगर मुस्लिम्स ने अपने बोलते हैं सबने कहा कि अपनी ज़मीन वापस मांग लिया तब क्या होगा देश में तो कोई लैंड बचेगा ही नहीं तो इफ दैट इज दिस इज अ बिग थिंग
Yeah,
कि
like-
अगर आप एब्सोल्यूट पावर किसी को देख सकते हो डेफिनेटली कोई बोलेगा कि सारा लैंड है वक्फ का है एंड इफ यू रिमेंबर आई थिंक वी ऑल्सो यू मस्ट हैव रेड इन तमिलनाडु देयर इज अ टेंपल इन द टेंपल लैंड द होल टेंपल वाज claimed by Waqf that ki this is our land, the temple is built on our land.
Okay.
Okay, so there is a big controversy it's actually going there, and this is how the things have come up. He suddenly somebody comes and say ki okay, the temple and the land belong to the temple is a Waqf land, and you cannot go and challenge it.
Exactly, that is the biggest thing. You can't challenge that it is your land. You can't go to any tribunal. You can't go to any
Right.
court. So these are all the positive things I believe have been added to this, act. Now, what the opposition is saying that through this, the whole amendment, government is trying to deprive Muslim community of their lands, assets, and freedom to manage their religious affairs. So I believe again opposition is in the,
Okay, since you mentioned, let's go to this tweet also. See, अखिलेश यादव ने ट्वीट किया है हिंदी में उन्होंने लिखा है कि वक्फ बोर्ड का ये एक बार बेटर वक्फ बोर्ड का ये सब संशोधन भी बस एक बहाना है रक्षा रेल नजूल लैंड की तरह ज़मीन बेचना निशाना है अच्छा वक्फ बोर्ड की ज़मीनें डिफेंस लैंड रेल लैंड नजूल लैंड के बाद भाजपाइयों के लाभार्थ योजना की श्रृंखला की एक और कड़ी मात्र भाजपा क्यों नहीं खुलकर लिख देती भाजपा हित में जारी इस बात को लिखकर गारंटी दी जाए कि वक्फ बोर्ड की ज़मीनें बेची नहीं जाएंगी भाजपा रियल एस्टेट कंपनी की तरह काम कर रही है उसे अपने नाम में जनता के स्थान पर ज़मीन लिखकर ये नामकरण कर देना चाहिए कि भारतीय ज़मीन पार्टी है तो अखिलेश यादव
BJP Akhilesh Yadav has renamed BJP as to Bharatiya Zameen Party only because of the amendments that the government is proposing. Now, Amit, please explain this whole poem and everything.
What he tried. See, basically, what Akhilesh Yadav is trying to say is the first thing first is that Akhilesh Yadav is, saving his vote bank. As we know that Muslims in Uttar Pradesh, they are the biggest, the voters of.
And they give him the,
almost like 90%, the vote goes to
that
Samajwadi
did
Party.
happen this time.
Yes. So the first thing first is that he is saving his vote bank. He is addressing to his voters with this tweet. Now, second thing is when you say Raksha, rail, yes, the defense and the rail, all these things, they comes under the central government, and sometimes, yes, the railway, they sold some lands, and accordingly they have used that revenue to build, the section and for the development of railways.
Exactly. Even for defense, as I
Defense,
said, it is going to be going to be for the security of the country. Similarly, railways, it is going
Yeah.
to be for the people only.
Exactly.
But what under Waqf Board? I mean, still
See,
Akhilesh Yadav is trying to,
But one thing is,
put a positive case. Let's decode this.
let's decode it.
Yeah.
So the now thing is why if he's saying they're trying to accuse the BJP that they will take the land of the Muslims, but how can it possible when we were like discussing? See, the amendment bill talks about the integration of different parties, which is the part of your system. Now, district collector is the part of the system.
Right.
He's not coming out from the Mars. He's not coming from the moon or the Mars.
Exactly.
ना वो अब जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर है वो ना ही मार्स से आ रहा है ना ही वो चांद से आ रहा है वो तो इसी सिस्टम का हिस्सा है द पार्ट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन
Right.
सो व्हेन एवरीबॉडी टॉक्स अबाउट द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन
संविधान बचाओ.
exactly
Constitution
how
is supreme.
exactly how can't he accept a person who is a part of constitution now the second thing is that it's the integration of different people whether women or the from the different communities. Also, the people who will be non-Muslim members will be included. They are also part of this community,
Right.
this society. And why can't they included in this this Waqf board? Because it's all about transparency, and the representation of Muslims are not taking away. It's mostly to making it transparent. No? And also the demands are not coming from the Hindu community. The demands have started coming from within the Muslim community. And the second thing is that even the courts has, recently you remember in Madhya Pradesh, there was a case, and there they have claimed an archaeological property, or archaeological site that is a Waqf property. And the judge was like said, ki, tomorrow you come and say the Taj Mahal is
Exactly, Qutub Minar is mine, then it is going to be mine.
Exactly. So there are certain things you just, a property or the site which is already under archaeological survey of India, how can you claim it that is a part of Waqf? So similarly, the only which I see that the only thing which I see in this whole amendment is that they are making it more inclusive with the participant, more transparent, and also there in India, in a constitution where people have equal rights, how can a citizen of India can't go for his claims to the court? And how can a board will decide
that this property is his or not?
Exactly. So I think, I don't know, like, what's your views? But my views is more of inclusive and more, transparent.
I truly agree with you that the amendments try to bring more transparency and inclusivity into the bill. But let's first decode this.
Yeah. So
because with this poem and rhyming, I am quite intrigued.
So वो लिख रहे हैं कि वक्फ बोर्ड का ये सब संशोधन भी बस एक बहाना है, नक्शा रेल की तरह जमीन बेचनी है. Now he is saying कि the integration or the new bill, the only thing BJP is doing is what? They have sold the lands of the defense or of the railways. So they will also sell the lands of Waqf board. But the only thing is that how can it possible? Because it's not possible, because it will be under Waqf only.
Yeah.
The only thing will change is that how the lands had been taken, and secondly, people who have claimed this land is ours, they will be given the justice. The only thing will be open. And what's wrong in it? If people are there who are fighting cases in courts, and suppose the people who have having a temple there, and that temple is like 100 and 200 more than 500, 600 years old, 600 years old temples. How can you claim that is a part of Waqf? And if you go to the history, sometimes I feel like going into the history in Tamil Nadu also. In Tamil Nadu also, it used to be the Cholas used to be there. And after the Cholas, I don't remember when any Muslim invader reached in Tamil Nadu and ruled there. Because after that, like the British or the French, they have came there. Sorry if I don't know. I think I have quoted the right history. So that's how the claims are sometimes very vague. The vague claims. Exactly, he is trying to say, okay, the वक्फ बोर्ड के जरिए आप ज़मीन ले लेंगे, that बीजेपी क्या करेगी, ज़मीन लेने के लिए कर रही है. लेकिन जो बिल है उसमें ये बात नहीं आ रही. बिल में सिर्फ इतना आ रहा है, आप बहुत सरल शब्दों में समझना चाहेंगे, जो लोग ये दावा करते हैं कि उनकी प्रॉपर्टी को गलत तरीके से वक्फ बोर्ड में शामिल किया गया है, उनके पास कम से कम फ्यूचर में एक आपके पास मौका रहेगा भविष्य में कि आप जो डीसी या कलेक्टर के पास जाएंगे और उनके पास जाके आप अपनी बात रख सकते हैं, और डीसी दोनों ही तरफ सुनवाई करेगा. वक्फ बोर्ड अगर सही है तो उनको मिलेगी, और अगर क्लेम अगर दूसरे का व्यक्ति का सही होता है तो उनको मिलेगा. नाउ कम टू द वक्फ बोर्ड की ज़मीनें, डिफेंस लैंड, रेल लैंड, ठीक है, नज़ुल के लैंड के बाद भाजपाइयों के लाभार्थ योजना की श्रृंखला की एक और कड़ी मात्र है. भाजपा क्यों ना खुलकर लिख देती है कि भाजपा हित में जा रही है. अगेन ही इज सेइंग दैट यू आर ट्राइंग टू बेसिकली people who are in BJP will be get benefited, because with this Waqf Board Amendment Bill they will again get the lands. And the most interesting thing, इस बात को लिख कर गारंटी दी जाए कि वक्फ बोर्ड की ज़मीन नहीं बेची जाएंगी. Now he is saying there should be guarantee. Okay, the Waqf land will not be sold by the government. And the last one, which you asked me to decode very well, you have already said Bharatiya Zameen Party. So कुल मिलाकर they are trying to say that BJP is just like a real estate company, and their work is to to get the land and to sell it. So over and all, they're trying to make a a kind of what you call it. Basically, they're trying to portray this whole bill as a BJP's agenda to get the Muslim land and to sell it. So basically, it's a kind of they're trying to build a certain kind of व्हाट यू कॉल इट, एक कोशिश हो रही है एक माहौल बनाने की, है ना, एक कहीं ना कहीं एक नैरेटिव, दे आर ट्राइंग टू सेट अ
Yeah.
नैरेटिव कि बीजेपी's एजेंडा इज टू थ्रू दिस बिल टू गेट द यू नो
To
गेट
attack
द
the
लैंड्स
minorities
एंड गो आफ्टर द लैंड्स. बट एज ए सिटीजन, you know, as a citizen, how do you think that it's justified in a constitution that somebody comes, see इस बात को हम बार बार इसलिए बोल रहे हैं, to understand, yeah, we are repeating this word, somebody comes to your house and say कि this land is Waqf land and you cannot challenge it to any court, a very simple thing.
Exactly.
How can somebody,
So this
You
is traumatizing as well. I mean, a person uses all his, generational wealth and his सारी कमाई अपनी लगा देते हैं, and eventually, people buy properties, get hold of their lands. Sometimes they don't even get acquisition of their own flats.
Right.
But eventually, जब आपको मिला है, and then Waqf Board comes and says that the property is ours. So the whole situation gets, quite difficult. Plus, you cannot even challenge. So that is the biggest loophole that I believe that the government is trying to address with the amendments. Secondly, it's going to add transparency. Then you will have the district collector where you can go and challenge, and of course, adding or giving more representation to women and other backward classes amongst Muslim community as well. So Amit, do you want to add any other point to this?
I think we have already covered the most important, part of this bill. You have mentioned few, I have already mentioned
Yeah.
few. We both have, I think, covered everything. And I think let's, leave a question for our viewers.
Yeah.
The question is, if somebody comes to you, अच्छा, you say it in English, I'll make it in Hindi so that दोनों के लिए फायदा रहेगा. क्वेश्चन मैं हिंदी में बता देता हूँ. अगर कोई आपके घर को या आपकी कोई ज़मीन को आकर कहे कि वो ज़मीन उनकी है और आप उसको साबित करने के लिए देश के किसी भी कोर्ट में नहीं जा सकते हैं, आपको जाना किसके पास पड़ेगा? जो ये दावा कर रहा है कि ज़मीन उसकी है, और वही लोग तय करेंगे कि आपका दावा सही है या नहीं है. उसमें भी जो दावा कर रहा है उसको ये नहीं बताना है कि ज़मीन उसकी है, आपको बताना है, आपको ये साबित करना है कि ज़मीन आपकी है.
मतलब completely one-sided.
Yeah, and-
So if someone comes to you, basically what Amit wants to say, if someone comes to you and says that the property that you hold is mine, and you cannot even challenge it anywhere, whether it be High Court or Supreme Court, you can't go anywhere, but only to that person who claimed that the property is yours. So what will be your reaction? What would you feel? This is the question.
Yeah, do share
leave
with
your
us.
Answers and comments, and yes, do share with your friends. And for more such updates, keep watching India TV.